All right. I couldn't really find a good place to post this up, so we're going to do it from where I'm at. You can kind of see where I'm at here. So this iconic landmark back behind me. Where is it? It's over here. So you can kind of see the hotel there. And then here's the ocean out here. Anyway, had to find a place where I could do this outside and not be too disruptive to people. So how is everybody? I was going to have OC Stacker come up, but there's no way for it to let me do it. So I guess he's not going to be able to come up today. If he gets on here, he'll probably say hi. Anyway, hopefully you guys are doing well. Hit that double tap and hit the thumbs up. We're going to cover some crazy stuff today too. So I am hoping I'll be able to get my iPad to work to be able to show you guys a handful of things on the screen. There's not another way to show it this way, and if not, I'll at least be able to refer to it, and I can tell you guys where to find it. But crazy. I wake up this morning getting ready for Black Friday deals, and then my heart just drops as I see silver sitting around $54. And then all of a sudden, it goes up higher and higher. So for Black Friday today, I did not end up buying any silver yet. I ended up buying more mining stocks, and those have already gone up from this morning. They're already up pretty good. But mining stocks have not kept up with silver price. So they're still undervalued even compared to silver, which is totally undervalued. So anyway, huge things are coming in gold and silver, guys. If you're not prepared for it, now is maybe one of the last times to do it. I do think we will have a stock market shakeout that could end up being a pretty substantial crash, which will probably be another opportunity to buy metals. But pretty soon, this silver train is going to be leaving. We'll be talking about that today. Everybody's been talking about the bull run. Well, the silver bull run hasn't even started until like today is the first day it really started. Maybe you could go back to tomorrow. Yesterday, and that's it. It's 2 days in. That's it. So we are just barely pulling out of the station. The gold train and that bull run has already been running for a year. And so it's important to know the difference of those things. It's important to understand why and all of that stuff. So we're going to see huge upticks in both gold and silver. And it's going to be the kind of thing that's going to blow you away. We're going to start to see a lot of $2 days. And those will be moves up and down because it will go up and down as we move higher. We're going to make higher highs and we're going to have higher lows. And as we do that, it's going to be an upward trend. And that's until everything unwinds and just basically blows up in our faces. But when that happens, you're going to want to have as much silver as you possibly can and gold because it's going to be hard to get your hands on it. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's do this. I'm going to call everybody out here. I'm going to get my glasses on so I can actually see you guys. And then the other thing I want to do is see the comments that you guys have for me, your thoughts. So go ahead and this is going to be Ask Surfer. I didn't put that on there, but we are going to be doing that too. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? Are you guys finding some good deals? What deals have you found? I'd like to know if any of you are buying. I'm very discouraged from buying today. Just because I have been buying the last few weeks and I've been trying to buy more, and I'm buying everything I can get my hands on. And so I'm finding that I can't find enough product at the price I want to pay. And it slips away. And then what ends up happening is if you would have just paid retail, it'd still be cheaper than what the price is today. And that's kind of the game you have to play as things keep going up and up and up. And I want the physical. I do want to vault some of my stuff too, but I also want a lot of physical stuff. I think there's going to be the day where you're not going to be able to get your hands on the physical. So if you are buying from any place that does vault, like One Gold or Glint, and I tend to use One Gold a lot more than I do Glint for many reasons. It's really hard for me to get cash into Glint. I don't know if they'll ever change that or not. It's just a pain in the butt. For One Gold, it's way easier for me to get money in and out of. But then you're stuck with using AppMax versus Andy Schectman for redemptions. But those are good services because you can redeem the physical. Other services where you don't redeem the physical, I'd be leery of doing that where it's set up in the same way. You want it to be pre-liquid. The other thing too is if you're going to be vaulting your own metals, you want it to be segregated. And I'm trying to remember the other word. It's segregated and I don't know. There's another word. Or you want it to be in safety deposit boxes that are private, not the bank. So we're going to go ahead and see who's all in here. If you guys double tap the screen, that will give a thumbs up. That'll get more people in here. We'll share that with them. And we'll probably do a silver giveaway here if we can get up to 20 or to 100 thumbs up before I finish. If we also get to $100 in super chats or in, memberships, donations, then we'll also do a 1 ounce silver giveaway. All right, guys. I was hoping to maybe bring some coins with me, but that didn't really happen. My little trip. However, I did find that something snuck in here. So we got some quarters here that we can do the giveaway for if we get up to the 100 thumbs up, guys. So these are now $10, by the way. So how many of you have these guys laying around? Right there. It's amazing to think that a quarter is now worth $10. It's actually crazy. So that's kind of how it goes, though. But let's welcome everybody in. Welcome, Elle. We've got Ron Spencer. Welcome. What happened to silver today? We're going to talk about it, guys. Some crazy things actually happened today. All right. We've got CT87GN25. Sounds like a Star Wars robot name. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It did definitely explode today. We've got Kevin Hawthorne. Good afternoon, Kevin. I've got something coming out to you. It's just taking me a little bit longer to get it out, so it should go out this week in the mail. So look for that maybe on Friday next week. I'd like to know if anybody did pick up silver lately from you guys, if you're lucky enough to get stuff. I have been buying silver. I'll talk to you in a little bit more details on that. Primarily I've been buying silver below spot or below melt. And so I'm kind of, I guess you'd say, spoiled on that. And so if I see silver at spot price, it feels too high to me. And when I don't see it at spot price and it's higher than that, it's hard for me to make that decision to go buy it because I find, some great deals. Yes, platinum was up a lot today as well as yesterday. I think platinum recently was down as low as in the $1,400 range. So I think platinum's a good buy too. But yeah, today was up everything. If you're in metals, if you're in cryptos, you're crying because they keep going down. My crypto portfolio does not look very good. All right, let's see who else we got in here. Yep, so we're spending time with the family, but no one really wanted to come down to the beach quite yet. We're kind of waiting to see for them to come down. So I don't know how long I'll go for the stream for sure, but we're at 29 thumbs up. If we can get to 100, we'll do some silver giveaways. And we'll do some other silver giveaways too as we get closer to Christmas as well. Just, it's always good to do silver giveaways when I'm thankful for you guys being on here and listening to me rant about stuff. But hopefully it helps you guys. I know for some of you, it's the first time you've ever won a GAW, which is really cool. So that's always fun. It'll be definitely interesting to watch silver climb to 60 and beyond. And just so you guys know, that could happen next week. We could see $60 next week. We could also see the banks really double down and really start shorting silver like crazy. The more they do that, the bigger the explosion when it all breaks. I think this Sunday is going to be very interesting. I think Monday is going to be very interesting. And as I go into some of those details in a minute here, I think you guys will start to understand that, here's the picture I'm going to paint for you guys. 2000, let's go back to 1980. Okay, 1980 with the Hunt brothers with silver. That wasn't a real market. That was two people trying to play the market. And they played it very, very well until the regulators caught on to what they were doing, and they basically changed the rules, and they wiped those guys out. Silver should have never been to 50. It would have never done it without that manipulation. 2011, a little different. Silver did get up to close to 50. And, but it wasn't long lived because the other conditions didn't really keep it there. What's happened now is we have now passed 50, and we have now had 55 for the first time. We've had 56 for the first time ever. And we have now printed $28 trillion of new dollars that did not exist in 2011. Heck, they did not exist in 2020. Okay. And we're about to do even more. The big, beautiful bill is going to print another $5 trillion. And then in the last 2 months, we've printed another $1 trillion in debt. And as we keep doing that, guys, we have the potential of hitting $50 trillion in debt by the end of 2026. Okay. So just with all this stupid money printing and debt going on, you're going to see prices of gold and silver continue to jump up. That doesn't even take into account that people are realizing that countries are starting to grab this up now, and they're starting to hoard it. And there is real use for it. We have a deficit, which means that for every ounce that's being used by industry, we're only mining something like 0.6 of an ounce. And so the only way industry can even have enough silver is if people sell the silver on the open market. And then what's happening with the ETFs, the COMEX and the LBMA, is people that own the ETFs are now demanding that they get paid in the silver instead of cash. And everybody, I believe in the month of November, has stood up to receive it in metals. And that's never happened in any history books that I'm aware of. So we got some crazy stuff coming up. And even today, the Chicago Metals Exchange, CME, I think that's what it stands for, but it's the commodities market in Chicago, I believe, for silver. That thing shut down for a while too. Like they basically broke from their stop of having a $3 increase. And I could be a little off on that one, but things are breaking. And so what I would say is it's kind of like us watching the Hoover Dam. When the Hunt brothers came, they filled the dam up, right? They were with so much water, they were trying to get it to come over the top of the dam. That didn't work. 2011, same kind of thing. What's happened now is we've had so much water behind that dam for so long, and it's old enough now. We've had cracks forming in that dam. What happened in the last 2 days is those cracks have moved into water spraying out of the cracks. And so it's just a matter of time before big chunks of concrete come flying out and the water starts pouring out. And that's when you're going to see us jump to, $4 days, $10 days. We could even see 20 or higher dollar days. It's possible you wake up one morning and when you went to bed, the price was at 60, 65, and the next day it's at 100. Like that's not impossible to happen. I would not take any of this as financial advice. Don't buy based on what I'm saying. But understand that the dynamics are completely different now than they were in 1980 and 2011. And if you don't believe that, then you haven't done enough research. And you need to watch more of what's going on. You need to understand the research better. It's huge. What's about to happen is so monumental. I've been trying to get my wife to sell our house so that we can move into a little condo or townhome and put the rest of the money into metals. That's how convicted I am of what's coming. Okay. I can't get her to do it yet. And I think she's starting to kind of get it. But, if it hits 100, it starts to become less interesting to do that model. But I'll give you guys my take and kind of where I think things are going here as we get going too. So let's see what else you guys have in here too. All right. We've got a couple more questions in here and also a few more people jumping us. So War's in here. Hey, War. Time lapse. How's it going? I think we can easily hit 60 by next week. If they let it go, it's going to hit 60. So I think we can hit 60 by the end of the year. It's very possible. I don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but it's very possible. BRICS is going crazy, guys. So it's very possible BRICS could do something here to us. There's definitely something up President Trump's sleeve. I don't know what it is yet, but I think he's waiting to see what moves BRICS will make first. I think he's waiting to see what the Fed's going to do. I can tell you if the Fed does not lower interest rates in December and in January, you're going to see banks brink and fail. And the Fed's not going to be able to hide it anymore. They're going to probably do bail-ins. And when that happens, we're going to run into a situation where people will be freaking out, losing their minds. We'll probably have a stock market crash. So watch the interest rate cuts. Those are very important. If you see a cut in December, and if they say we're probably going to have to do a cut again in January, the banks are probably saved for now. Otherwise, I think we're going to see some major stuff hit the fan. And it's hard to say what that's going to do to silver for sure. It might affect it downward a little bit, but for gold, it'd be very bullish. So I would say, by the end of the year, we're going to see silver towards the end of the year, either probably pretty close to $45 or let's say $65. I think those are going to be kind of the ranges you're going to be looking at. All right, we've got Rob in the house. He's waiting. He's like, get started already. Big pizza. Howdy, everybody. All right. Yeah, you guys smash that like button. We get up to 100 of them. I'm giving silver away, and I said that plurally, by the way. We've got quarters here. We'll give away. It is a beautiful view. It's pretty cool. It's about 66 degrees out here in San Diego, and there's a lot of people around here. There's some cool sand castles, and I forget how old the Hotel Del Coronado is, but it's been around for a long time. And then there's a naval air base down here. And then this is where we station our large Pacific Fleet ships in San Diego. So you can see several aircraft carriers when they're home and all kinds of other ships that are here, which is pretty cool. $1,000 silver is on its way, guys. It is coming. And anybody who thinks that we're not going to see $1,000 silver does not understand what's coming. Okay. Now, you might ask, why don't you go all in silver? Why do you have any gold if you think it's going to 1,000? Well, I don't know when it's going to do that, guys. And there's going to be bumps along the road. We have a big stock market crash. I can tell you silver is going to get decimated. Okay. But it won't get hit. Gold won't get hit nearly as hard. It's much easier to move gold. Gold has that stability. So it depends on what you're trying to do. If you have wealth, you're trying to save your wealth, you're trying to secure it. That's when you need to have gold. If you're looking for SHTF, if you're looking for the investment side, if you're looking to make a bunch of money off speculation, there's your silver. There you go. Now, you've got to remember these ratios go into play, right? So it's very rare. It's very rare in history to see silver and gold go 1-to-1. And I think it's only happened once or twice in history, almost 6,000 years. And then it's very rare for it to go where you have more silver to 1 gold. I think that's only happened once, and I don't recall the time where that's happened. And so, can we see the ratios go down? Yeah, they're going to go down a lot, guys. And right now, it's still a good time to be buying silver. It's still a better buy than gold at the moment, even though we're sitting at like low 70s now on the GSR. When you hit 50, that's where the balance is, right? That's where it's like, hey, you should probably be buying 50% gold, 50% silver. Once it starts to going below down that, it's better to be buying gold. When it's above that, it's better to be buying silver. So, I don't want to do a lot of trading right now at this level from gold into silver, but I'm willing to still be buying more silver than gold. Hopefully that helps. West Texas Stacker, $50,000 silver. Let's go. We could see $50,000 silver, but that's definitely going to take a revaluation of gold. And it's going to have to take a really low ratio, probably close to 1-to-1 to do that. And a gold at 50,000. So I'm buying silver over gold right now. When we get down into the 60s, that will change a little bit. But for me, I'm heavy in gold, not silver. So if I take every dollar of precious metals investment, 60 cents is in gold, 40 cents is in silver. I know a lot of you are opposite of that, or maybe you're 90% silver and a little bit of gold. So I think it's important to look at why you're doing that, what you're trying to do. Are you trying to save and protect, or are you trying to build? And for me, gold and silver is not a way to build wealth. It's a way to protect your wealth. I do real estate. I do start businesses. I work my day job. I play in the stock market, in crypto markets to make money. Gold and silver is where I save my money. However, when you start to figure out how to buy below spot and you can sell at spot and still make money off of that, you can start to add to your stack. But it's not the large amounts of money that a lot of people are pulling in from other things. All right, let's see what else you got in here for me, guys. We've got Richard in here too. We've got Echo Leaf, welcome. All right, let's see. Yeah, CME going down did cause stuff big time. Let's see. We've got the notorious RPG in here. Let's see. Echo Leaf, Jake's Custom Parts. Word, it's so bulky and heavy. I'm getting overweighted in silver. Is that possible? Well, here's the big question. You know, I think a lot of people ask, how much silver should I have? You know, and gold, my thought is this: bare minimum, if you're just getting started with this, go and get yourself as fast as you can to 100 ounces of silver before you buy any gold. That's my opinion. Once you get to 100 ounces of silver, that's the time where you start adding, you know, say 10th ounce, a quarter ounce of gold, and you can start to kind of build that ratio. I recommend 1 ounce of gold for every $50,000 in net worth you have. So take all of your assets, subtract all of your liabilities or your loans. There's your net worth. Include your house in that, unless it's paid off. If it's paid off, then just includes, you know, do that first, and then start to add some gold for paying your property taxes to make sure you can't lose your house. That's what I do there as far as my gold ratio or my gold plan. And then on my silver plan, I like to have at least $100 face of junk silver per person. And then from there, I like to have 100 ounces of silver in addition to that per person. And then I add another $100 in junk. And I kind of go back and forth with that. I like anything I can get my hands on that's a good deal. So I'll even go up to 100 ounce bars. That's as big as I'll go. I don't love them, but 100 ounce bars are great for flipping into the GSR down the road. And no, I don't think we're going into Mad Max in the next couple of years. So I don't think, you know, you have to just have dimes either. But dimes are my favorite. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. All right, let's see. I'm getting lost in the chat here a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, I think, so Richard brought up Glint again, too. I'll just say this. I think One Gold is a good place to buy from. I think Glint's a good place to buy from. They have two different philosophies. With One Gold, what you're primarily looking at there is getting a credit card with them and using that credit card to earn free gold and silver. And then they've got a very good, straightforward interface. It's much easier for people in the US to move money in and out of. I can just link it with my bank account and it does it easily. With Glint, it's really hard for me to set it up. So I haven't done a lot with Glint yet. But they give you a debit card. So where Glint could be really good is if you want to put a bunch of savings in there and then have the debit card and use the debit card to buy things with it versus leaving it in your checking account. I think that's a great model. It's a little harder to move the money in there because you've got to do it as like a bank wire if you're going to put any substantial amount in there. But both of them are good companies. They both have the ability for you to liquidate into coins or bars, whatever you want. And I think those are good options. And those are considered vaulting, by the way, guys. So you don't hold it, you don't own it, so to speak, right? But you do have claim on their you know, commingled bars and stuff. That was the other word I was looking for earlier. So you do have a claim to that stuff. They do have real gold and silver bars there. They are audited, and you can go look up the records on their sites. Okay, so you know, if you're vaulting, it's one good way to go vaulting because it's fairly easy to liquidate. It's going to be the cheapest way to play the gold to silver ratio, by the way, because their fees are so small. And oftentimes, like I'm not sure today, but One Gold should have a spot price, you know, discount today to buy gold and silver on some product. I haven't looked over there today, but they'll probably have that. So, you know, that's something to kind of look at. Double tap the screen, guys. We'll do some giveaways here in a little bit. For me, I'm also trying to get just a fair amount of, you know, physical stuff. It won't let me send ACHs over Glint. It just doesn't work. I have to do the wire. Same thing with using the not LBMA. It'll come back to me. It's the vault up in Utah. That one's giving me some hard times. But I also have a lot more in One Gold than I do with Glint because they've been a sponsor of the channel and I did a lot of stuff with them. I haven't been sponsored or done anything with Glint, but it looks like a good company still. Let's see. I know some of you guys hate this format, but it's on my mobile phone and I don't have my computer with me, so this is the format that I've got to use for the most part. If I go the other way, I won't be able to see your comments. Is the problem? Yes, $50 silver is going to be the new base, guys. So you got to get used to that. It doesn't mean it can't go below that, but it means that that's going to start to be the new base. Hey, Chad, I can never say your last name, but Chad, welcome. We got Michael in here too. All right, guys. All right, we're going to talk about what's going on in here in a minute too. So if you guys want to know what's really going on in the whole silver market, and you guys are starting to get to this in some of the comments here, but I know I'm behind. China wants to control the price of silver and gold. Okay. They want to control it. They use more silver than I think just about any other place except for maybe India. When India uses it, it's a lot for jewelry. For China, it's industrial. Shanghai wants to set the price. And so they've been working really hard. They've been storing a lot of their metals. They've been offering a higher price, which has been moving metals from the west into the east. So from the LBMA and the COMEX into the Shanghai exchange. And they're not letting it leave now. They want to keep the metals there. They want to be the price makers there. And so I think what you're going to see here pretty soon is I think you're going to see the LBMA and COMEX take a major hit, if not completely collapse, which is going to take out SLV and GLD. I do not buy those. I do not put money in them, and I don't recommend anybody does. They rehypothecate it. That's where you have all of your the fake silver and gold. So I wouldn't touch that stuff. Not with my money. I'm not putting it there. Now, if you had enough and you were going to go buy 10,000 ounces of silver, and you wanted to do the ETFs and you wanted to play around with the game of like requesting 10,000 ounce bars, okay, I guess you could go play that game. But that's much more of a game for people that are 100 millionaires and billionaires than it is for the people that aren't. But eventually, I think you're going to see it shift over there, and I think you're going to see Shanghai setting the prices for all this stuff. And when that happens, guys, instantly you're going to be $4 to $5 higher, and it's going to jump. Now, once they kind of dominate it and take it over, who knows? I mean, it's not exactly a capitalist country over there, so I don't know what they're going to do as far as maintaining the price and manipulating it over there. I mean, everything's manipulated. So it's not like something you should be wishing for. But when it happens, it's going to change the dynamics. It's like Uber and Lyft. I was using Uber and Lyft for years for business. And, my rides would be 15, 20 bucks here and there. Now they're like 45, 50 bucks. And so I can't really use them as much as I used to. And they've got a monopoly, so they can do that. So Echo Leaf dumped BTC for silver and gold. I did the same thing, guys. Actually did that. I just wish I had held on to it longer. All right, let's see what we have here. All right, guys, I'm going to try to go down here. So everything's going down compared to gold and silver. If you go look at North Star bad charts, if you go see Kevin's stuff there, you'll see that and I'll try to get him back on before the month's over or December's over. I've already talked to him about trying to do something. The capital rotation is real. It's moving from stock markets into gold and silver. And we're even starting to see some of it out of Bitcoin into gold and silver. It's not the squawky, loud people, the big crypto people that always say, hey, put everything into crypto. they're probably not buying gold and silver because they just are too brainwashed to just buy one thing. And by the way, gold and silver is not like, there's a day where I'm going to sell a lot of this stuff, by the way. If the world gets itself back together, gold and silver is not a great place to park money if you're wanting to make money, especially when a currency gets backed by it. So I believe someday they're going to back the currency by gold again. And when that happens, gold's not going to be the thing you want to own a ton of. Um, you're going to want real estate. So up until that point, that's good. So I'm not like married to gold and silver like it's my only sports team and everybody else's sucks. That's not my thing. This is the age of gold and silver that we're going into. You guys are still early. So if you look at a bell chart, the bell charts that go up like this, you're still in the early part of it, okay? We have not come anywhere near the top, and we're definitely nowhere near it coming down. And my mother-in-law keeps telling me, she's like, she came down to visit from Utah the other day, and I was counting a bunch of silver and testing it. And she's like, why do you have all this stuff? What are you doing? She thought I was like being prideful and trying to surround myself with a bunch of wealth. And no, I'm testing it to make sure it's not fake. And I do find some fakes every once in a while. So it's definitely test your stuff. But it's funny. She's like, well, are you ready? It's going to crash. Isn't it going to crash? If it's gone up, it's going to crash. Yes, everything goes down that goes up, but not everything that goes up crashes. And when you print tens of trillions of dollars, and by the time they're done printing this, when they actually revalue gold and back the currency with gold again, we could have 100 to 200 trillion more dollars printed. Okay, I don't know that you guys realize how crazy this could be. There could be so much money that's printed that it never gets anywhere close to any price you've ever paid for these metals, right? And at that point, what does it even matter? It comes down to what can you buy with the stuff. Like you can't even price it in dollars anymore. All right, so Greg Olson says, Surfer, are you excited about the Hawaii dollar designs coming out in 2027? Cool surfing scenes. Dude, send me an email. I have no idea about them. So those would be really cool. I'll have to go look those up. Rob, I won a GAW 2 weeks ago and was wondering if I got an email with contact information. Yes, I did. So just know if you guys win a GAW from me, it usually takes about 30 days for me to get it out. I'm a director at my AI software company that I work for, and I'm completely bogged down and busy. It's amazing that I even have time to do this stuff. Most of you watch sports. The time that I have to watch sports when you guys are watching sports, I do this channel. The time you have to sleep, I do this channel. The time you have where you might be out with your friends hanging out and having drinks, I'm doing this channel. So I pretty much, I'm either doing my full-time job, this channel, or I get a little bit of time with the family. And Sunday is a full family day. That's why I don't put out a lot of stuff. I try to get as much done on Saturday as I can with the family. Like with this, I'm not going to stream for 10 hours today. I'll maybe stream an hour here, maybe a little longer. But for me, I do everything for the family. I stack for the family. I'm not trying to get rich. I don't have some crazy number I need to hit. I'm trying to protect my family. That's why I went heavy into gold and silver instead of just jumping on the gray of crypto and risking it all. I was buying Bitcoin when it was my first Bitcoin I bought was around $5,000 or $6,000, and I knew about it when it was 800. Couldn't figure out how to buy it, and I had to end up selling most of it to put a down payment on my house. Same with Tesla stock at $30, back before they did a 10-for-1 split. So it's for my family. I've sold my stock for tech companies that would be worth $500,000 today, and I sold it for $50,000 back in the day to put a backyard for my kids in the back of our house, because it's not about the money. It's about the experience. It's about the lifestyle. So anyway, the GAWS will come. They do come. It takes me longer just because I don't have a Mrs. Yankee to help me. I do have a Mrs. Surfer, and she's really cool. But anyway, she didn't have the time to help with it yet. Hopefully that'll change at some point. We're at 58. Double tap the screen, guys. There's 115 if you're watching. We get up to 100. We're going to do a bunch of silver quarter GAWS today because it's Black Friday and Happy Thanksgiving. I've had an awesome year, and I'm grateful to you guys. But we got to get to the 100 thumbs up, or I can never live with myself. All All right. The other thing, if you guys want to do any super chats, do memberships. We're going to be doing a lot of member-only streams coming up soon, as well as deals to be able to buy gold and silver at better prices. I'm going to be working on a few things that are going to be for the members. So if you guys want to help out, that's one way to do that. Yes, I think we would have had $60 silver today if they didn't shut the exchanges down to screw with things. Yes. Let's see. It's settlement. Yeah, that's also part of it. Everybody's taking delivery. December deliveries, guys, are going to be insane too. All right, I'm going to try to get caught up in the chat here. I can't tell how far back I am. I'm probably way behind. And by the way, I'd be curious to know if any of you guys have ever bought any merchandise from the store. I'm thinking of changing the channel name a little bit to make it a little bit more fun, less about a surfer, more about gold and silver. And if we do that, I'll make some even more cool merchandise that would look a lot like, a cool surf t-shirt or something like that, but to do with gold and silver. I don't think I've sold more than one sticker on any of the merchandise. So if any of you guys have ever bought a t-shirt or a hat or a mug or something, let me know, because the companies are not telling me if they've sold any. And maybe no one has, and that's okay. It's just a logo. It's not really a fun, cool thing. Like I've got a mug that says, it's not hoarding if it's coins. Okay, that's kind of funny. My wife bought it for me. I don't have that on the store yet. We'll do some of that here in the future. Just as a Stacking Surfer logo. I don't expect that I would have a logo of just Yankees, AOK sign or something. But I am curious if anybody's ever bought stuff. Let me know, because I've never been paid for anything on any of the merchandise in almost 2 years. Let's see here. Yep. It's always good to lose your gold and silver in a boating accident, guys. It's always fun. So I'm hearing a few different things, though, but so Alfred Rostamain, if you go by shadow stats, it's more like $1,300 for silver for it to be what it should be worth based on inflation that's happened. So it depends on what you look at. I think it's around 200 if you go off CPI, which is a total made up number. And they don't even include fuel, housing, or food in that. I mean, what else do I buy in a day besides those three things? I don't buy electronics every day, so that's dumb. And, they keep making it sound like we're only having 2.8% inflation. They're not counting the 25% inflation we've had, or 20% inflation we've had since 2020, according to the federal government, which is actually probably closer to 50% inflation. If you look at the mean of all the inflation that's happened, a lot of stuff's been over 100%. Yes, 1,000 ounces makes you a 1%er. Who wants to be a 1%er? You want to be like in the top 10th of a percent, guys, if you can do it. Let's see. So, guys, Tether is like the biggest scam of all time, because Ponzi scheme going on next to Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy. Don't own that crap, guys. I can't give you financial advice. I can just tell you that I would never own that stuff. It's garbage. It's going to be what destroys Bitcoin at some point. And I would never buy anything that's heavily leveraged like that basically builds its own circular reference. And I don't even know how that crap's legal. Same with shorting companies is horrible. But Tether is the only reason, in my opinion, that Bitcoin has been anywhere near 100,000. Maybe the only reason it's gone above 60,000. And they continue to buy Bitcoin, and they do it they create money by issuing new Tether coins, and that's supposedly back 1-to-1 with the dollar. I would be really surprised if they aren't rehypothecating that, just like the ETFs are, and that they haven't created basically synthetic Tether. But they've recently been buying a ton of gold to back themselves up. They know something's coming. I heard that Ukraine and Russia on January 16th is supposed to make peace. Okay, that was on Nino's Corner, if you guys know that show. He has crazy crap on there. I don't know what's even real. Most of it sounds like it's just fun stuff to put into a movie or a TV show. Um, but if that happens, it will affect gold a bit. It'll probably send silver higher. It'll probably bring gold down a little bit, but gold isn't high because of the Ukraine war. So I would expect that to only last maybe a week. And then after that, I think you'd start to see it go back up higher. Um, all the other circumstances aren't going to just change because um, Ukraine war gets resolved. And I don't know that that's going to happen, but I hope it does. Ron Spencer, I'm in California. You're in California. I'm in California. Do you think you could get an ore smelter permitted? I have no idea. I doubt it because California hates anything that's good. So my guess is you'd have a really hard time doing that. Try getting a concealed carry permit here is really hard. All right, so Richard's telling me current support's at 49.75, guys. Holy crap. The 200-day moving averages on gold and silver are continually moving up too. Okay, so I can't give you financial advice, can't tell you to buy or sell. I can tell you to double click the screen, hit the thumbs up. We'll do some silver gauze. I've got a bunch of quarters here in my backpack. By the way, if you're here locally and you can find me, you'll get a silver quarter just by coming up and saying hi. But approach me from front on. Do not try to take my backpack. that won't end well for you. But yes, if you're here by me and you're watching this, you can get a quarter, even if you're my niece. Okay, because I know one of my nieces watches. So, what I'll tell you is this: as the 200-day moving averages move up, it's very important to realize that prices can go up and down, but we're in an upward trajectory. Silver has just left the station today when it comes to the gold and silver bull run. Okay, gold's been running for a whole year. Silver's just barely starting. It had to go to 50 to complete the 45-year cup and handle, and it did that. And then it needs to retest that. It has to go below it and come back up. Boom! It did that just this week. And now it's gone above it. So this is actually the breakout out of the 45-year cup and handle. So I would expect that it's going to continue to go. Now, the caveats to this is it's the most manipulated commodity, asset, whatever on the planet. So the banks could come out and short the heck out of this thing on Monday to try to keep it down. What they're trying to do is they're trying to quash momentum. Okay. They know they can't put it back down to 20. They know that's not going to happen. They're just trying to slow it down. But you have to realize when you have 1 billion ounces out, and I don't know how many of those are naked, but if those were all naked, it's something like $38 billion that they're going to have to pay up if they if they don't continue to push it down the road. This is why everything's so crazy. If the LBMA and the COMEX don't have enough bars for delivery and people freak out and they pull their money out of that, you could have everything collapse and just go crazy. Now, I'm not wishing for that because I don't know what that looks like. I mean, that's like, I don't know how to buy or sell metals anymore. I don't know what they're worth. I don't know what costs of things are when something like that happens. How many banks would be taken down and crushed from it. And even though I don't like a lot of these banks because they do a lot of bad, dirty tricks and stuff, but the company I work for does a lot of stuff for banks. That's why I don't use my real name. I have to keep it kind of separated. But the reality is if the banks go down, your money's in the banks, you might not be able to get it out. Even if it's FDIC insured, guys, there's only like $100 billion insured for $11 trillion. You're not going to get your money out of there if all the banks go down at the same time. So, it's not something you really want. Is it Mad Max? No, it's not Mad Max, but it's like Mr. Robot. If any of you guys have seen that movie, it's something kind of like that would be crazy. 38, where Greg Olson is. Holy crap, man. It's cold. The coldest I think I've ever been was in Minnesota, negative like 20 degrees. And I had just flown in from California where it was 70. Dude, I was convulsing getting out of the car there. So yeah, I'm 60% gold, 40% silver. I wish I could go the other way, but I don't know where to put it. put any more silver. So I'm starting to vault everything I can for the most part because I don't have room. I don't have room in my vault facility. Don't have room in my safes. Um, silver just takes up a lot of space. All right, let's see. So I'm starting to vault a lot more, guys. Okay, so favors can see 300 silver, 12K gold in a year or two. It's possible. It's very possible. So first off, any big numbers you guys see, like $1,000 silver, $2,000 silver, those are possibilities. Those aren't based on probabilities. Okay, so right now, what I'm seeing is I see a very clear case that in this bull run between now and 2032, and it may not last that long. It may be shorter lived. The charting that I'm looking at shows we could see somewhere between an $8,000 and $16,000 gold. I've seen people even talk as high as 20,000, and that's without revaluation. If we revalue it, it could go higher. Ratios for silver, so it could go down to 10 to 1. I don't think it's going to do that. If it does, then everybody holding silver is going to be really happy. But that doesn't mean you're going to be able to turn around and give 10 ounces of silver and get 1 ounce of gold. There won't be much gold to be had at that valuation. Okay, even if it gets there on paper, you'll probably be doing 20 or 30 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. They just won't unload. They just won't do it, right? They're going to charge you crazy amounts of premiums on both sides. Silver, where could silver go? I've seen anywhere from 150 to about $500 is kind of the consensus. But some people are saying it could go up to 1,000 or 2,000. Don't buy it for those numbers. Buy it for the reasons you want to hold it because of the precious metals. Whatever happens with those prices, I couldn't tell you. It might be that a pizza is $150 when silver's at 1,000, or it's $500. So it's one of those things that you just don't get into this to plan to try to get rich, guys. That's a sure way to get hurt in this stuff. Don't borrow or leverage to do this. Okay, this is not crypto. If you guys are in crypto and you're used to doing leverage on crypto, do not do that here. This is not the same game. Yeah, there's no way for me to flip the screen this way, guys. So that's kind of how it goes. All right, I'm going to try to go down to the bottom here. I'm going to have to skip some of your questions because I'm way behind and I want to get caught up. So it looks like Yankees entered in. We've got OC Stackers in here. So OC, I could not get you up on here. It wouldn't let me do it without restarting everything. And that was going to put us way back. So Yankee thinks that we could maybe see silver at $70 by the end of 2026. That's possible too. So I would say I'll give a little price prediction here for you guys too. This isn't my official one. I need to do a little bit more research, but I think by the end of this year, it's possible that if things continue to run, that we could see $60 silver by the end of the year. And I think it's possible we could see $4,500 gold. Okay. We'd have to have some pretty bullish things going on. I think we would need to have the Fed cut the rates in December to see both of those numbers. And I think you're also going to have to see at least a neutral stance, if not a dovish stance, which means more favorable for a rate cut in January. We see those. I think we see a $60 silver. I think we see $4,500 gold. And it's possible it could even go a little bit higher than that. Going into next year, I think it's very possible for us to be seeing somewhere between a $5,500 and $6,000 gold next year. But that also is going to account for multiple rate cuts. It also accounts for wars still being in play. And it accounts for the crypto winter starting. If those things do not happen, we'll probably be on the lower end of that. Maybe we'll be closer to 5,000 to 5,500. As far as silver goes, I think we could see a ratio get down as low as 60. I don't think we're going to see it get any lower than that, at least not for a sustained period of time, just because we're still fairly early in the silver cycle. Usually you don't see those numbers go lower than that until you're towards the end of it. And in addition to that, in at least the modern times of manipulation, we haven't really seen it go below 50. So, those are kind of the guidelines to look at. the key is I did not give you numbers that are lower than today. And so today's Black Friday. If you haven't been looking at some of the deals, today's at least a day to consider it. Now, I have to say I've been very disappointed Black Friday in the last 3 Black Fridays. If I would have just bought 2 weeks before Black Friday in the last 3 years at retail prices, I would be paying less money for my precious metals than if I bought spot price deals on Black Friday the last 3 years. I don't know if that's the case for you guys, but that's been the case for me. And it just drives me crazy because I get so excited for Black Friday deals, thinking we're going to get even better deals, and it turns out to be the same price I paid like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it becomes kind of a nothing burger. But I still think they're good prices. I think prices are going up overall in general. I always say shop around a little bit for it, and don't buy more than you can. Dollar cost average into these things. If I hadn't been buying earlier this year, my overall price purchased in 2025 would be way higher if I were just buying it all now. So spread it out. Also, not financial advice, just my ideas, guys. Um, all right, so Yankee always has good comments, so we do call out his stuff a lot. He says if AI insanity crashes the stock market and Trump has his new Fed chair in place, I think it will be economic calamity and emergency Fed ZERP and QE5. Silver will be above 100 an ounce, gold above 10,000. Yes, it's very possible. So I was watching, I think it was on Capital Cosm with Danny, and he had Eric Young. I know it's pronounced a little bit differently in China, but he tells me to pronounce it Eric Young. I think it's Jung. But and then we had Francis, the market sniper, on there. I believe they did a show yesterday. They came out yesterday on Thanksgiving or the day before, and it was filmed a couple days ago. But they were talking about this Yankee, and they were talking about having to try to keep everything up around the AI bubble because it's what's holding up our entire economy right now. Is like one stock, Nvidia. It's almost $5 trillion of market capitalization in there. And so if that falls drastically, it's going to be a big problem. Now, I work for an AI software company, but we are debt free and we have a massive amount of capital that comes in all the time. And so the stock's been getting hit lately, but I think it's a stock that will probably do okay relative to other stocks because of its position. But its P/E ratio is still kind of up there. So I think there could be corrections to just about any of this stuff. But what Yankee's talking about is the whole thing bringing the market down, right? So there's always a catalyst that crashes the stock market. It could be this AI bubble. Now, if it doesn't crash, we're probably going to start having massive amounts of brownouts. I'm hearing we don't have enough electricity to supply everything that is in demand right now on AI. So that's also another angle that can happen too. But yes, I think prices would go crazy high. And the question for you guys is: are you willing to buy gold at 10,000, and are you willing to buy silver at 100? If the answer is no, I don't want to buy it at that high. Maybe consider buying a little bit more now than you might otherwise, but don't get yourself into debt. Okay, this isn't a end of the world scenario where you have to hurry and get silver. You're going to die. Okay, none of us, at least none of the stackers I know that have channels, are 100% gold and silver. Okay, I think everybody has some real estate. Everybody has some stocks. Everybody has other investments that go on too. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. But Yankee, I do agree that could be huge. And I'm not keen on that Fed chairman because I don't think the answer is to just print all the money, but I know that they do. And so you guys, it's just going to get crazy. I keep going back to the Future 2, where a Pepsi was $50. That's coming. That's coming, and then it's going to go past it. All right, guys, we're close. 83. Double tap the screen. Boom, 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 like that for the likes. We'll get to 100, and I've got silver quarters here that are hiding now because there was a bunch of dudes around me. But they're here in my backpack. We're going to do some silver giveaways, and if you guys are close to where I am, and if you know where I'm at, you'll know where I'm at. You get a free silver quarter if you come up and say hi, but approach me from the front. Don't freak me out. Okay, let's see here. Rob said top 1% for silver. I have to look at the numbers again on some of the charts. Let me see if I can get onto X on my iPad here, because there was some charts that were pretty cool about that. I couldn't get the internet to work here earlier. Let me see if I can connect to my phone. Oh, maybe it's going to work now. Great. Now the Wi-Fi wants to work and I don't have the code with me. Oh well. See if I can get it off my phone. Hopefully this doesn't mess up the video. We'll see if I'll try to get back to there in a second. All right. So Rob, I'm going to try to answer that for you. Is that OC in the background pulling security? The bald dude right there? He's totally security. That's not OC. OC has a little bit more hair. Let's see what else you guys have. Bo Polney predicted. Okay, so I've had lunch only 3 times. Okay, he's a good guy. He predicts a lot of the prices up. What's really hard to do is to predict a move and a date, and it's almost political suicide to do so. So I know he doesn't do that, but or just not anymore. But he's had some pretty good predictions. I think he's predicting for and when he predicts, he's not saying he's a prophet and this is what's going to happen. He says, "Hey, I think there's a high probability of this happening." So he's thinking we could have a stock market crash on Monday. But he was also thinking that might have happened a couple weeks ago. So, I don't know. But yes, he's been talking about silver going up to about 70 for quite a while. And I'll have personal conversations with him and I can get the real take on things, but I can't share it. So we do have those. And I do think he's got some interesting takes on, how he looks at it, the patterns he sees and everything else to kind of give him a range of time to do things. Okay. What I want to tell you is the direction is up. And so if you're waiting for $15 silver to buy, I think that's dangerous if you really want silver. I think the only way we get to $15 silver is we go into something worse than the Great Depression. Outside of that, I don't see how we ever get down there. Same with say $1,500 gold. Or even $1,000 gold. We'd have to have a Great Depression come in and everybody's selling everything just to get food. And there's a famine at the same time. I hope we don't ever have that. But yeah, Bo did talk about it running today. I think he talks about the market going down a little bit tomorrow. He's also talking about a time where basically the markets crash in like the LBMA COMEX, and those banks are basically having to get rid of all the silver they have to pay up on their naked shorts. They probably don't have enough cash to pay it. All right, let's see if this is working yet. Yes, okay. So let me see if I can get onto my X account real quick. I won't be able to share it perfectly with you guys here because it'll be backwards, but I can tell you. So we'll try to get in that as I still talk to you guys. Sorry. So I think 1,000 ounces is a great goal to get to, guys. But what I want to tell you too is there is no should or minimum that you need to have in gold and silver. The key is to have more money outside of the markets and outside of the dollar if you believe those are going to continue to go down. And when I say down, that doesn't just mean in price, right? We could still see the stock market going up. You could still see your house equity going up. But if it doesn't go up at the same percentage as gold and silver, they're going down compared to gold and silver. So for every dollar you have in the stock market that's not in gold and silver, and if gold and silver is increasing by 10% or 20 or 30% a year more, you're going down compared to gold and silver. Okay. All right. So we've also got a super chat in here from Yankee. So I think Yankee needs to come out to California and visit. Bring Tim with you. We got to do the Long Beach F1 races. My wife is huge into F1. We almost went out to the Vegas track the other day, but we had some issues with one of our kiddos, so we didn't make it. But Every Sunday we're watching an F1 race where they have them. But anyway, you got to come out. It's very warm out here. So AI, okay, let's see. Yeah, so he put his post in there. It's totally true, guys. Like, you got to pay attention to this stuff. Like, any of you that are looking at right now, like you would 2011 or 2008, sorry, 1980, you're not understanding where we're at in the cycle of the monetary cycle. This is not another one of those repeats, okay? This is something totally different. We're at the end of the fiat experiment, okay? And they've done this stuff before over time, okay? The Romans did this. Every major civilization's done this stuff. But this is the first time we've done it globally, and it's the first time the US has led in this issue. All fiat goes to zero if they allow it. Sometimes they save it by backing it with gold. But here's the thing, how do you back it with gold? The only way to do that is to revalue the gold up to somewhere between $42,000 and $140,000 an ounce of gold, depending on if you're going to cover all the IOUs or just the debt that's outstanding. So, you know, you do that, you have to start over with everything again anyway. And then they've got to create it again. So you got to watch things like what Yankee's saying on here, because that helps you really understand where things may go. We're talking about monumental moves here, okay? And not everything's going to be, it's not like we're going into Mad Max right now. I do think that could happen in the future. I don't think that's now. This is more going to be a situation like, hey, you're used to going to the movies when you want to. You're used to being able to take a vacation with your family. For those that don't have precious metals, if the metals move as fast and high as I think they're going to when some of the things that are coming happen, if you don't have those metals, you're not going to be able to do that stuff. You're going to barely be able to afford to do things. You may even have to rely on the government sending you stimulus checks just to pay the bills. Combine that with AI taking a good chunk of jobs in the near future here, and you start to be in a position where you have to be dependent on the government. That's something I never want to do, and that's one of the reasons I stack. Okay, 5 away from doing silver GAWS, guys. Double tap that screen. I wasn't sure if we're going to do those today, but I found them in my backpack. I mean, like, who just has silver in their backpack? Probably a stacker, crazy stacker guy. All right, so Rob says he keeps hearing $1,500 silver from several YouTubers. Yeah, totally possible. Like, it's not crazy talk, guys. Like, and I'll let you know, you can have $1,500 silver with a cheeseburger. I'm just going to use a Coca-Cola or Pepsi because of Back to the Future, one of my favorite shows. So I'm still waiting for flying cars. I want those things and a hoverboard. And the powered surfboards are finally out. They just don't look as cool as they do in the movie. I might need to get one of those because I'm getting an old man here. But here's the deal. You can have $50 Coca-Colas or Pepsis and have $1,500 silver. You can also have $5 Coke and Pepsis and have $1,500 silver. It all depends on what moves the price up. Is it because everybody wants silver, or is it because they've printed so much money, silver's just gone up? But it's not crazy to say that. But what I will tell you guys is I don't like people going around telling you it's going to happen tomorrow, or it's going to happen by a certain date. I can't tell you that stuff, okay? I can tell you ranges. I did a video a while back saying $75 silver is at weeks away. It still could be, okay? We could still see $75 silver this year. It's just not completely likely, but it's not crazy talk. But if someone's telling you $1,500 silver this year, no. If they're telling it to you next year, probably not either. That would take some massive, really bad things to happen for silver to get that high. You don't want to be in that world for silver to be that high that fast. $1,000 silver in 5 or 10 years, it's okay. It's also still just not a great world, but hopefully you have some. And so, I recommend getting what you can get your hands on. Don't go crazy about it, guys. Dollar cost average. For me, a few months back, 2 months ago, I had something really kick into me, and it's not FOMO. It was the realization that there's going to be a day where so many people want silver, it's just going to be too hard to find it. Same with gold. And so it clicked for me that I just want to accumulate what I can. So I'm less worried about price. However, that does make a difference. I just locked in some deals today that I probably will go pick up after this that are locked in at below spot. Okay. So anyway, when you can find those, it's good, but you got to build networks to find those things. All right, let me see. I'm going to scroll way down because we're so far behind. Okay, we got another super chat from Jake's Custom Parts. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Richard will drive he'll drive Yankee down here to San Diego. That's awesome. So this is a great place. Let's see if you guys can see it. I still haven't gone to X yet. I know, guys. All right, let's see if we can move this around so you see better here. So here's the hotel back here. And it gets cold at night, so they got these little warming tubs for you. I may do a live stream up on one of these balconies tonight with the fire around with some family if they want to join in and talk about stuff. But here's the coast. It's beautiful. Now, if we can just flip the state back to red from blue, we might be able to save the country. So, but I'm telling you, that will never happen until we have legal voting in this country. Okay. I mean, people that are legal vote only. Okay, that's not happening here. Pray for that. If you guys want to pray for something to help the country, pray that California only allows people and at some point makes it so that they have to use voter ID and heck, do it for the whole country. Let's just not have it be digital ID. Okay. But we need some way of being able to confirm every ballot is from a citizen and those are the only people that vote. I guarantee you when that happens in California, it flips red. All right. Let's see. All right, let's talk platinum real quick, and then I'm going to hit a few things on the silver move. I like platinum. I don't love platinum. And the reason for that is platinum is a metal that looks very similar to silver. If you've got a fair amount of silver, you need to really make sure someone knows that the difference between platinum and silver coins. Okay, that's number one. Number two, platinum is much more based on the industry because it is not a monetary metal. And so you have to look at the times and places when that's been big, and a lot of it has to do with the auto industry. Okay, if we're going into a recession or we have a stock market crash, it's not going to look real great for platinum or palladium. Coming out of those recessions is the time you're going to see growth with those metals. And so, I did buy some a few weeks back, a couple months ago. I did buy some, but it's still less than 1% of my stack. And for me, precious metals is not where I make money. It's where I store my wealth and secure it. And so for that reason, I don't do a lot of speculation. So I don't do that. I don't have any palladium yet, but if I can find some palladium in a cool format at a good price, I might pick up a little bit just so I have it and I can show you guys. But I do have some platinum. I bought some of the platypus coins from a local coin shop that had them. And I want to say I paid like $60 over spot for them a few weeks back. And so, I'm already positive on those, which is nice. But it's a little bit of a hedge against other things. But I don't plan on holding on to it forever. I'll probably flip that into another metal. But here's the thing: will it be one of the last metals to flip, and then I don't have another metal to flip it into? So that's what I would say about that. I would not worry about platinum until you've hit your goal for silver and gold, at least your basic goals. I would do it. All right, we hit 100, so we'll do 2 silver quarter giveaways, and if we can get up to 150 thumbs up, then we'll do another 3 silver giveaways, 3 more quarters if we get up to 150. All right, guys. So let's see. Yankee, we got to get you back down here, man. You'll feel like you're in your 30s again. Let's see. Yes, I know California districting is really messed up, but um, I still think there's a chance. And it would take some time. You'd basically have to start getting more Republican people in here. They've kind of screwed up the whole districting now, so I don't know. Maybe it's going to be too late now that they're changing with Prop 50. I don't know how long that's going to last for, but it's supposed to be temporary. I don't know. But I will tell you that if this country is going to stay 50 states, and California is going to be part of it, you got to fix California if you want to fix this country, because this is where all the crap comes out of. Not my area. It's pretty good down here. Where I live is one of the most conservative places in the entire country. And it's also, we have no traffic. It's a bubble. And that's the thing. It's hard to get my wife to make the move, and my kids to get out of here, because we live in like a perfect place. It's like a Truman Show, something that everybody wants. The rest of California is not as great. And you get up north, and it's where the cesspool of our civilization is, up in the Bay Area. And if you live in the Bay Area, I'm not saying that everything's a cesspool up there, but try to go walk downtown San Francisco. You tell me how many of the shops are closed down and how many homeless people are living on the streets. Same with LA. It's a mess. And those policies were all created up there. And so it's, they're not even Democrat policies. They're like Marxist, socialist, communist policies. And that's why it's been so bad. If it was Democratic policies, you'd have a much cleaner city. The opposite of that. It's kind of crazy. All right, guys, let's see what we got here. Let's see. At some point, I'll get more involved in politics stuff. But the problem right now is I can't I don't have time. I got to clone myself. Rob, why do all the LCSs use Kitco prices? I don't know the actual reason for it, but I do know they do. Kitco used to not sell metals, and so it was kind of this third party, news site that had this information that had a more accurate spot price that was coming off of the exchanges. Once they started doing their own metals, that kind of changed a little bit, but a lot of places still use it. And then you'll see the other online bullion dealers have different spot prices, but they use that spot price for buying and selling. So you're kind of in your own ecosystem there. If you really go and do the math on things, they're not ripping you off. They're not trying to charge you more to make more. That's not how it works. They just have a different index that they're using for it. And they've got their reasons for why they do it that way. So hopefully you guys had good Thanksgiving. We had a great Thanksgiving with the family, and it was pretty. Yeah, I'm with Yankee, man. I would love to see us get back down to where we should have gone down to, which was like back down to $2,800 gold. It didn't happen. We never retested the 200-day moving average after we passed 4,000. And a few people that I've had on the channel were really calling for it to happen. It didn't happen. And so it's hard when you're trying to wait for some of these big dips. And then usually the dip doesn't happen until after you buy. That's when it comes in. So, here's what I'd tell you guys is I don't know if it's going to go down much more. I would be surprised if we don't see one more dip down below 4,000 for a short period of time on gold. I'd be surprised if we don't see silver back down below 50 for a short period of time. But after that, I think you're going to see them a lot higher. I don't think we're going to get down to the 200-day moving averages. We just don't seem to be hitting or heading that way or getting close to them, and they keep moving up. But I do think we're going to have a stock market correction of at least 20 to close to 30%, and we might have a crash, which is anything over 30%. They're pretty resourceful on kicking the can down the street. I don't think it's going to happen on Monday. I mean, I don't know. Anything's possible. But I would look for more Q1. I think it's going to take getting some more numbers out in December and January to show how bad stuff is. And then I think they'll go from there. And it's not bad from like a total recession standpoint. Like, I gave my indicator of Disneyland and Costco. And both of them are showing me right now there's been more of a pickup in the holiday season with full carts. People are buying, so they're doing a lot of that. The problem is they're buying on credit. And so it's the credit that's the huge problem that we have. It's not necessarily people's willingness to spend money. They're really good at that. It's just that they're not spending the money they actually have. All right, let's look here real quick. See if you guys had anything else. I think we should probably do our silver giveaway. What do you guys think? Let's see. And just to clarify, when we do have market corrections, everything's going to go down, guys. Metals too. And when you see metals come down, the other thing that's going to happen is they won't go down as much as the market, and they'll be the first things to rebound because a lot of money will start running back into it. All right, before we do the giveaway, though, I did want to pull a few things up on X. Maybe it doesn't seem to want to log me in unless I download the app. Okay, maybe it's not going to happen. I'll get it ready for next time. What I wanted to show you guys, and maybe I'll try to get a video or two out on this, is there's two descending wedges, one for gold, one for silver, and those are very bullish. And they're at the pinch point now. And it looks like we're about to have the next leg up. And so what usually happens is you have a big run, and then you have a little bit of a pullback. I like to call them dips along the way, and I like to call them maybe a small pullback. At least right now, they're not really a correction. And then there's consolidation. And then once it consolidates enough, it keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and it's like a spring, then it pops and goes up. And it looks like we're about to see that with gold and silver within the next week or two. So I can't give you the financial advice. I can tell you to go look at the charts. Go follow my X. All of these things are, a lot of them are reposted on my X account. That's where I keep all that stuff. There's not really a good way to do that on YouTube. Go do some research on that. Go to look and see what's going on. If you've got money right now that you're planning to spend on gold and silver before the end of the year, I think it's worth at least looking at a few of those charts and a few other channels too to see, do I want to buy now or am I going to wait and see if things correct a little bit? I've got one of my friends was saying, hey, it's going to go down a ton on Monday. I don't know about that. I don't see anything that says it should go down on Monday. And the reason people say that is because it's up today and they think that the COMEX is just going to, or not COMEX, sorry, the banks are going to do major shorting on Monday. Maybe, but it might not work and it might not last more than an hour or two. So, you got to look out for that. I bought some more mining stocks today, even on an up market. But I'm also planning on holding those for a while. And that's another thing you can do with precious metals versus, just vaulting. But, all of those things you can do, all of those things are going to help us. All right, so let's do this. We're going to, I'm going to have you guys put in a number to make it easy. And we got these beauties right here. We're going to do two of those. And I'll try to get these out this next week, even though I did told you guys it can take like a month before I send stuff. I need a Mrs. Yankee. What I need Mrs. Yankee to call Mrs. Surfer and have a little chat about mailing out GAWS. And it's due, and maybe that'll help. Then we get them out faster. All right, let's do this. So wait until I say go, and then we'll do this. So I'm just going to have you guys pick a number, and we're going to keep it pretty simple. It's going to be between 1 and 50, and it's going to be the first number that actually. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do a number between 1 and 50. Okay, so get your number in your head right now. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do this once, and you get one try, one of them. You need to be subscribed to the channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, go become a subscriber real fast before we do this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at place 7 and 8. Okay, so it's going to be the same number. So I'm picking one number. We're going to look for the person that picks it on the 7th, and the person. Actually, I'm doing this wrong. Sorry, guys. It's so hard to do in this vertical format. That'll take forever. We're going to pick a number between 1 and 10. So have a number in your head between 1 and 10. And then I'm going to pick the seventh person that picks that number and the eighth person that picks that number. Those are the two people we're going to do the silver gauze for. If you win the silver gauze, send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. In the title, put silver gauze. Remind me it's a silver quarter. Put the date down. Put your YouTube channel down. If you can, do a screenshot of your channel showing that you're a subscriber. It just saves me some time. And then give me your mailing address. I can send that out to you. All right. So when I say go, we're going to go ahead and put the numbers in, okay? And actually, I need one of my mods in here. L's going to say go. As soon as she says go, everything after that is where we'll start. Because I don't think I can type in here. I'm sorry, that sounded confusing, guys. So wait for a start from L, and that's where it will start to count. You guys are anxious. Okay, we got the go. The go's in there, okay? So start throwing the numbers in. One guess per person, all right? We got 132 of you in here. Hopefully you guys can do it. Now, if you happen to be on your TV, pull out your phone and log in real quick and put a number down, and then you can leave comments that way too. All right, we got lots of numbers coming in. OC Stacker's going for 1 to 50. He's just going to hedge the whole thing. Goodness. All right, I'm going to go back here and look real quick. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hit stop. So, Elle, if you could put in stop in the chat for us. Okay. All right, we're stopped. Okay, guys, so the number is 7. So let's take a look and see who got this. So we're looking for the 7th person to put in 7 and the 8th person to put in 7. And one of these days, I got to find out a better way to do this with this vertical format. Okay, so I've got a... Okay, go. So the first person I see is Chad. The second is All About Health. The third is SC Matlock. The fourth is Junior Van Gundry. The fifth is Rob. The sixth is Syntax. The 7th is Born Hunting. Congratulations, Born Hunting. And the 8th, if I did that right, is Alan Satoshi Greenspan. So congratulations, guys. And it's going to be what shows up on my screen, which is going to be different than your guys' screens. All right, awesome. Well, I need to go finish my Black Friday deals and see if I can get some things all figured out. I want to thank you guys for coming by. Hopefully this was helpful. I've been doing a lot of research this week, and everything to me is pointing that I don't have as much stuff as I want, and I wish I had more. But I think that's probably how we all feel. But thank you, Yankee. Mrs. Yankee said yes to meeting up at the Hotel Del Coronado. Let's get this planned stackers meet. Let's do it. Don't tell anybody. I think my hotel room's like $50 a night. So we've got connections. Anyway, it's always good. It's not $50 a night to stay here, by the way, guys. It's way more than that. But if you know, you know. It's always good to have connections. So last thing I'm just going to put in here, guys, is do your homework, do your research. Don't buy on FOMO, but do buy because it's something you want to do and you're realizing that, now's a good time to do it. So hopefully that helps. Yankee, thank you for the super chats, and the rest of you guys. Hang tight, be good. Lots of videos coming out here soon. And in the meantime, keep your family close, be thankful, let them know how you guys feel. And pray for the country, pray for the world. We're going into some crazy times here, as things and truth starts to come out. It's going to get a little hairy, and it's going to take your prayers to kind of help guide things. And be close to your loved ones. Take as much photos and videos of your friends and families and loved ones as you can, just to remember things, and we'll go from there. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye bye.